Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. If this is your first time here and you like movies and you like movie reviews, make sure to subscribe. Today, we got one that I've been waiting a long time for. I absolutely love this franchise and I'm just now adding it to my collection for the first time. And that's going to be Sleepaway Camp 2, Unhappy Campers. But Scream Factory sent me a very, very janky package. I'm not very happy about that, considering that I went all out and got the extra slipcovers and posters and everything. So why don't you guys stick around after this intro? We're going to get into how good their packaging is, how bad their quality control can sometimes be, and maybe how perfect this 4K disc is. Hello everyone, my name is Jeff and welcome back to my channel, JOHNDOEJUGGALO. If this is your first time here, please consider hitting that subscribe button. Like my daughter says, it's free and you can always change your mind later. If this is not your first time here, welcome back. This is where you're going to find me discussing my favorite things about movies and music, video games, and the physical medias that surround all of those types of mediums. So please sit back and relax and check out this next video. Alright y'all, so I'm just going to rip the band-aid right off and show you guys the slipcover. I know that some people are going to say, oh my goodness, I can't believe you're that worried about it. I really respect my wallet, and this doesn't show me that they do as well. Now, the slipcover is really nice for this. It is the original cover art. But look at that. Look at that. It's all crushed in here. And it came in one of their big long boxes like they usually do. It's all crushed in there. And you know, it could be as simple as, well, let's just flip it around to the other side. Except the other side, look at the bottom of that. It was all bent. Like it was bent and folded up. I seen the back side of it. And this is the best that I could get it fixed. So I'm a little upset about the slipcover. Just because I respect my money. But we're going to get right past that, because I did get the alternate slipcover. And that is very awesome. I really do dig this slipcover. Look at that. This is newly commissioned artwork. And what's kind of cool about this is that you have to order it from them, right? And get the extra slipcovers. And you don't get this any other way. And what do I mean by that? Well, let's look at the actual 4K release here. So you have your original cover art, which, like I said, I'm always a fan of original cover art. But we're just gonna pop it open real quick here for you guys. Look at that. There is no alternate cover art. So you just get that, and you just get your 4K disc. Now you get some really awesome cover art, disc art, I guess, is the proper term. You get your proper disc art here, which is cool that they actually didn't just, you know, put nothing on it. They could have easily just done that too and skimped all the way out. Now, there is no Blu-ray disc in here, and that's because a new company owns the rights to the Blu-ray. And that's like Sandpiper Pictures, I believe is their name. I don't know what special features that disc has on it. From my understanding, there are none. And this one has loads. I mean, just look at this, guys. And we'll get into those in a moment. This thing is loaded to the brim, right? But let's get right into the quality of the film, because that's what we buy it for, right? The quality of the film. Now this, for me, I've never owned this movie on Blu-ray. I've only ever owned it on DVD. And it was just a copy of a DVD. I know. Shame, shame, shame. I have ways to watch the movies. I love the films. They're some of my favorites. That's why I was so excited that these finally got this 4K treatment. I mean, it's well deserving of these films at this point, right? You'll be happy to know that the 4K looks freaking magnificent. I loved this. I thought it looked amazing. And this is coming from someone that has watched this film many, many times. Like I've watched it on Blu-ray before. I just don't own it myself. So I've seen it from DVD to Blu-ray to 4K now. And I have probably even seen the VHS of it. My uncle was a very big fan of these movies pretty much my whole life, and showed them to me very early on. So I've always been a very big fan of this franchise. This 4K disc, the colors just popped so good. You can definitely tell that they put that Dolby Vision HDR on the disc, because you can tell from like all the little reds that just pop more, and the blues. Now, you know, they all wear these blue camp shirts, and they just look so much more realistic and just pop so much more, right? And there's so much of this movie that's outside. Obviously, it's a camp slasher, and the outside scenes are just so freaking good. Like there's this spot in the film, right, when Angela walks up to the tree, and there's the two shit sisters sitting there doing their stuff in the woods, right? And when she walks up to the tree and she's like standing there, like you watch her walk up to the tree and she's like standing there on the tree, it almost feels like a 3D Blu-ray. There's so much depth that she's walking through to still get to you, and never really, you know, going that far on the screen. Like the camera doesn't shift a whole bunch. There's that much depth and pop to it, and it's all throughout the film. Now, there were a few scenes that I thought probably could have popped a little better, but we're talking about a movie that was on like a shoestring budget, really, when you think about it. They filmed this one and part 3 back to back, basically 6 week break between the two, or maybe a little less. I think it was about that long. And so, you know, they probably had to keep everything real tight in terms of reshoots and whatnot. And there's probably not a lot of extra that they could have really worked with to be able to fix anything that maybe was broken. I will tell you, I noticed nothing broken. It looked amazing and it sounded great. It was a DTS HD soundtrack, so it did sound really good, but it just sounded really good from the front speakers. There wasn't really anything going on behind. There was no actual 5.1. But it sounded the cleanest it's ever sounded. The dialogue was very nice and heavy and there. And like I said, all of the blood effects and everything, they just looked really good. Now, that has to probably go back to the fact that 4K really makes practical effects look just that much better. One of my favorite scenes in the movie, which I didn't realize it until I was watching a special feature. Now, this special feature that was on the disc was from like 2015. It was a Tale of Two sequels, part 1. Now, that was from like 2015. And that was probably on the Scream Factory Blu-ray, right? it was a ported over special feature from the Scream Factory Blu-ray, which I'm glad to say, I believe all the special features from that Blu-ray have been ported over to the 4K along with new ones. And we'll get into those in just a moment. But I want to talk about one last scene that I thought just really popped so good on 4K. There's not a lot of scenes that I've seen in movies that are like this. And that's the end, like near the end of the movie, the dream sequence. Which, like I said, I didn't realize that this whole dream sequence was made. I found this out in this documentary. That the whole scene was made to buffer out the runtime. So that way they could make it an actual feature film. It had to be 80 minutes and it ran for 78 originally. So they made that scene to kind of buffer it out. That scene was such a good standout scene for the 4K because it was all this blue tint. And like the blacks just really popped within the dark blue, and that scene, you have to watch the whole movie to get there, guys. But that scene, oh, it's such a good payoff there at the end. It's the best it's ever looked. Now, the film looked great, sounds great. So let's get into these special features. I'll show them off to you guys here. Check it out. So what we have here is, of course, you know, like I said, it looks great, new 4K restoration, and it was in Dolby Vision, looked amazing. So this new, these new special features, right? They include Return to Sleepaway Camp, and it's a new retrospective. You know, looking at the film and everything, I thought it was amazing. Its runtime was about 10 minutes. And then you also have a new interview here with actor Brian Patrick Clark called I'm a Happy Camper. And that was about a 15-minute interview. Very great, lots of introspective. I didn't realize that he was a famous actor from like soap operas and stuff. And he was trying to break out into the film and industry, and this was it. So that was a really cool thing to learn. And then the next one is Camp Carnage. And that's another new feature on here that is a behind the scenes look of the special effects. And it runs about 22 minutes. Now that's all the new stuff. But let's add all that up. We're looking at about 45 or a little more minutes of new special features, along with the part 1 of A Tale of Two Sequels. That runs 28 minutes. You also have a look back at the locations of Sleepaway Camp 2 and 3. That runs another 15 minutes. And then for another 15 minutes, you get another behind the scenes footage montage. So you're looking here, that's another hour basically. So you're getting an hour and 45 minutes of special features all loaded on to this wonderful 4K Blu-ray disc. I mean, this is pretty much everything you as a fan would want out of this film. If you've got 4K and you're ready to finally upgrade your old DVD because the Blu-rays were too expensive, do it. If you've got the Blu-ray and you love the films, do it. Like, it's worth the upgrade. Like I said, I've seen the Blu-rays. I just didn't think the Blu-rays were worth hundreds of dollars a piece. These are worth the price of about $32 a piece. Not bad at all. And while I am almost positive this is on a 66 gigabyte 4K disc.
A lot of people know I talk disc sizes. BDE, big disc energy.
I still think this is an amazing upgrade for anyone who is a fan of this film. I don't usually do rankings here too much and ratings, but I absolutely love this film. I'm going to give it a rating, guys. And I'm going to say that this is a 9.5 out of 10 for a release. They gave you all the bells and the whistles, and the only thing they didn't do is give you the Blu-ray disc. but I don't think they have the rights to it anymore. So that's going to do it here for you guys today. If you enjoyed this and would like to see more reviews, please let me know. Like I said, I quite enjoy the Sleepaway franchise. The one thing that I did get good from pre-ordering with Screen Factory is that, hey, I've got the films about 3 weeks early. And that's really awesome. I don't think it excuses a bent-up slipcover, but I guess us collectors just take our hits where we have to take them, right? If you guys would like to join the members down below, please make sure to hit that join button. And like always, remember guys, to always keep it physical.